Yeah, exactly.
So now
Taylor, are you able to drop a comment to tell us if we're good on Instagram? Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate that.
All right. Now we can get down to the business at hand.
All right.
Videos. So before we get into everything, happy Monday, by the way, Nick.
You too.
I want to
let's talk about should we say real quick what's going on tonight? Because it's a special thing.
Yeah, go ahead. You hype that and I'll get this.
All right. Yeah, so tonight we are doing a special session on Zoom for non-Art Storefronts members at 6 o'clock Central. All right. So that would be 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Yep. So that is in 2 hours. Patrick and I are going to go on. We're doing it later because some people have asked, and they're working their day jobs and whatever, and they needed a better time. So we're trying one at 6 o'clock. So if you have any questions about your art business, where are you struggling? What's your hurdle right now? What are you wrestling with? What can you not figure out? What do you think is wrong? What are you trying to do? Where do you want to go? Come and talk to us. We will bring you on the Zoom call, and you can ask your questions. And these things have been like extremely profound and helpful. And so there's no, what we've found is people are sitting there, and sometimes for years with the same problem that they've never gone past. The problems are so similar with everybody, and and we're able to work through those things. And I think one of the most rewarding parts is when people they get a clear path forward for the first time right there. And it's almost like you just broke all the chains off them and they're ready to go, and that part's amazing.
Yeah. Clyde says, very helpful, guys. It got me a long way. I appreciate your effort. Clyde, we're just getting started.
Clyde.
We're just getting started. I want to share my screen and show this stat. Well, what time? Oh, you said 2 hours. We're going to go in 2 hours. So
I said the times.
Yeah. I want to share this thing. And so we'll have to explain what it is on Instagram, because the people on Instagram won't be able to see it. But it's this graph that's been posted, and one of these SaaS websites that Nick and I both follow. And it's essentially e-commerce growth in the United States from 2009 to April 2020. And it goes 10 years versus 8 weeks. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, you're seeing the screen share. But 2009, 5.6% of total commerce was e-commerce. And we're talking about percentage of retail sales. And then e-commerce slowly started growing 5.5%, 6%, 7%, 8%, 8, 9, 7, 10%, 11, 13%, 14%, 16%. It was growing, right? And then there is the 8 weeks starting in April where it went from 16% to 27% as a percentage of retail sales. Insane, right?
Insane.
Everyone would normally probably say that e-commerce is time, and it's been coming for a long time, but things take forever to happen, and then they happen all at once. In 8 weeks, that percentage of growth. And if you think that art sales and photography sales are not a tremendous part about that, boy, are you wrong on that one, right? It's huge. It's huge.
You know what that is? It's another metric. We've been publishing all these metrics about showing how, the home decor market has exploded during this pandemic. Art sales have exploded online, right? We published our data every week, over 100, sometimes over 200% growth year over year on the artist and photographer websites on our platform, right? And then here you go, right here. We just saw this yesterday, and if you're on Instagram, you can't see it, but it shows the chart of the growth, and then it goes boom like that, right? And I think what's so incredible about it is everybody is buying everything online, right? So for it to be in the high 20%, what was the number on there? Was it 30%? 27, right? Just think about what just happened right there, because if everybody you have to realize how much of the retail market, with groceries, is part of the GDP. You know what I mean? Is part of that percentage number, because everybody is basically buying almost everything online right now, and has been. And so when you realize that jump happened, it's an inflection point. I mean, it is it is a major change. You know, I think that it's going to have like a major lasting impact. You know what I mean?
I'm sort of like just blown away with these like new behaviors and new modalities that we're discovering through this thing, that many of them for me are better. I've got a dog. I used to have to take the dog to the vet, get the dog out of the car, go sit in the vet, where inevitably there would be somebody else with a dog. And is it a nice dog, or is it not a nice dog, or is it a cat, or is it something else? Do I have to keep my dog shielded? Might get into some forced awkward conversations. And now what do? I drive up, park in the driveway. I call them. They come in, they take my dog out of the back of the car, take him right in, handle his business. They have my credit card on file, so I don't even have to sign anything. They come out, they put the dog back in the car, they hand me the bill. Beautiful. I'd love to live my life that way. That's exactly how I want it to go going forward. Perfect.
So you guys, you don't have the mobile vets in where you're at?
No, there's no mobile vets. Well, maybe there is. I don't use one. I use a local one. But
because there's some services that come right to your house, and I was just imagining that those will probably explode. You know, like they come right to your house. They are full blown vets, and then they have like a service to like wash the dogs and do all that too, if you want it. But they do the whole thing. They got prescriptions ready to go if you need it. You know, like, I mean, this is where the world is going, right? Like, you know, I don't know if you saw this today, but like there are some new robots that are being used to actually, like, they're little like cases on wheels, like bikes almost, but they're cases. And they are able to they're able to roll through the street and deliver groceries, you know, to people without anybody touching it. It's like, and it could just go the whole way, almost like an autonomous vehicle, like a car, but it's like a little scooter or a little bike, and it's just got the thing in there, you know? So it's just like the behaviors that have changed and that are going to change going forward is really, you know, the biggest thing. And that's the thing. It's like you and I have talked about this enough. We keep talking about it. It's good to say it over and over again, but it's like, you know, as an entrepreneur, if you like, I'll just say this for any photographers and artists that are thinking about, you know, what they're going to do right now or what's going on. If you are sitting and thinking that I'm just going to wait and pray for things to go back to where they were, you know, with shows and galleries, that is really bad. You need to change that right now. Every single time recessionary situations happen in the macro economy, right? And whether it was 9/11 or it was the 2008 recession and this now, the people, I can say this because I've gone through all of these as an entrepreneur, and I've gone through them in the art industry. And I can firmly tell everybody that the people who did not adjust after the 2008 financial crisis, they were far less successful after the fact than they were before, okay? And most of them never came back. And I will say that on this one, it is the same thing. If you are looking backwards and hoping for that to come back, that is the exact wrong mindset of an entrepreneur. And this is not just for the art industry, this is for every industry, right? You gotta be thinking about the new way and how you're going to position your business in the new world, and how you're going to be, you know, really successful given where it's going in the next 3 to 5 years, and have a strategy to do so. And we've also said that
it sounds like right, like the new world, like, you know, Columbus just we're moving west, but it's true.
I know, and I just, you know, I can't stress it enough. I've gone through this multiple times, and like I've seen it with like hundreds of people who they're in the past, and they're holding on to it. They're holding on to it so hard. And there's a really good reason why they hold on to it, Pat, because that's where their business was, you know? Like, I mean, you just want to believe that that's going to be it's going to go back to that. But the sooner that you shift and you go, you know what? I'm going to start operating as if it's not. And I hope that a lot of people that are listening today, they make that change today. I hope they make that mental change today. They go, darn it, I don't want to do that. I don't want to think that way, but I know he's right. I know this is right. And like, I'm going to operate from this moment forward, you know, on America 2.0, on this new normal, where the market is going, and, you know, and all this data that's happened. And if the old stuff comes back, and when it comes back, or if it ever does, at whatever level it's going to come, it's just gravy. It's the gravy. You're gonna be loving when that gravy comes in, if it ever does. But you're gonna be thanking yourself that you executed on the new normal. Best advice I could give.
That e-commerce stat is like, so telling. It's like there's a whole raft of people that were ignoring e-commerce, right? That they didn't want to do it, that they were old school. Maybe they still had a Rolodex. Now they've been forced into e-commerce. They're like, crap, this actually is more convenient. And so what are they going to do? They're going to take their spending. They're going to take their dollars. They're now going to be comfortable selling online wherever they go. And that's it. Off they go. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yep. And it's just, it's just wild. It's a wild situation, but it is what it is, and you gotta move forward. Like, what do you remember the first things that I said when this pandemic hit? And it was like, whoa, we're all shutting down this economy. We're going home. You remember the meetings we had internally, right? What was the first thing I said? I said, you guys, let me tell you something. When these things happen, we go on offense. You have to go on offense, right? That was the first thing I said to the whole team at Art Storefronts. Like, we are going to execute. We are going to be on offense. I've been through this before, guys. I've been through recessions before as an entrepreneur, and I know exactly what you have to do. You stop thinking about the past and you get on offense, right? And so what did that mean for us? We immediately came out with a pandemic marketing kit, Pat. We started doing workshops. We started going live. We started doing everything different, because we started thinking like, we're not going to be victims of this. We are going to be on offense, right? And what has happened as a result of that, right? An absolute,
whole business has changed.
The whole business has changed. We're providing 10x more value to our members than we ever have. They're all positioned to sell right where the market is right now, right? And that's why they're getting the sales that they're seeing, and other people are not. Because if you are not where the market is and you don't know what's working right now, state of the art, you're probably hurting. I mean, I'm talking about state-of-the-art marketing tactics, state-of-the-art, doing live shows, live selling, the tactics that are going on with that, all the other stuff like the other marketing tactics that we've been coaching everybody on for the last 2 months, and like, I'll just tell you this too. There's a guy that was asking a question, and he's like, and he's a member. He's been a member for like 6 months, right? And he said, like, hey, I can't get anything to happen in the last 2 months. I can't get anything to happen. I can't get anything to happen. And so we go and we look at everything, and you know what we find? He hasn't been going to the workshops at all. He hasn't followed one of the marketing tactics. He hasn't done the number one tactic that we've been coaching people on for the last 2 months. The number two one, that are, all of these things are in the Art marketing calendar. He hasn't done anything with the live playbook that we put together, that we've been talking about for how long? The last month. All three of those things.
Surprise. Yeah.
Surprise. I mean, don't, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to talk about. He is unfortunately, because he has not been executing on those things, he is executing on pre-pandemic things and mentality, and that doesn't work.
Nope.
It doesn't work anymore,
It is a whole new world. It's so strange to say it, but boy, is it true. It is a whole new world into. And the future remains bright. It remains bright for art and photography sales in the short term, as the home office thing explodes, and then the ones that are positioned to sell online and to have virtual shows and to understand the writing on the wall. Looks good. Yeah.
Do you know what's really interesting about that too? Is like with the galleries and the virtual shows and like everything that the artists are now able to do, like they do not need any middlemen. That is a fact. Like the middleman thing, like that thing is gone. Unless you
that years ago, but now it's like, ooh. I mean, before, now it's like, one little finger's up. Like in some rare situations, it'll make sense to stay in a gallery if it's one of the hot ones. But other than that, boy,
if
your own work.
If the gallery can bring you value and bring you sales, of course, like it's just one little tiny hub in your marketing wheel, in the whole marketing wheel, right? But here's what's so interesting. Pat, is that, I've talked about how because of the more that sales go online, the better it is for the individual creator. By far. There's no way to argue that, because if the buyers in a different city or state that normally bought in a gallery are now online, you have an opportunity to sell to that person when you otherwise didn't, right? But think about this, Pat. Like with the galleries, if the galleries, the physical galleries, have less business and more of it is online, think about how much more opportunity that provides to the artist or photographer.
I know.
That is a very big deal, right? And so when, like, it's very easy for artists to get wrapped up and be like, oh my goodness, like, you know, the market might contract a little bit because the economy is like hurt a little bit. And it's like, do you realize that the whole market is going towards giving you more opportunity? So like, if every sale that happened at a gallery, or like 80% of them, 100% of them right now are online. But if in the new normal, if all these guys are shut down, except for a very small percentage, which we know that's going to happen, right? And all of that demand is now going online, and you have an opportunity to get that when you never did pre-pandemic, and you will forever going forward. That is a very big deal, right? Your individual opportunities as a creator have dramatically increased. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand what's happening in the market, right? Your individual opportunities as a creator have dramatically increased. And the more that goes online, the better off you are, the more opportunity there is. It's, in other words, it has never been better to sell art online right now at this exact time. It was better than a year ago by far, like probably twice as good. Do you know what I mean? Like, people hear that and they're like, wait a minute. But when you actually think about it and you understand what I'm saying, you're like, you're right. Because the opportunity is bigger, right? The percentage of the market that is online is so much bigger that even though there's a pandemic going on, it's better for the individual creator because your opportunities increased while it's the galleries that's decreased.
Yeah. If you're on your marketing, but you have access.
If you're on your marketing.
Yeah, you have access to a global pool of talent, which is just insane.
There is no more important of a time to be digitally, like, to have digital marketing acumen and a strategy online. Like, I mean, like, think about it, you know, for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, like, it is the #1 skill to acquire as a photographer, artist, or let's say it, Pat, for a creator in any field. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you are a musician, you gaining digital marketing acumen over the next 5 or 10 years, smartest thing you could ever do for the rest of your career. Smartest thing, smartest skill to acquire.
Yeah. So we have a comment on Instagram. It says, even with the contraction due to the recession, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you just run the numbers, right? If there's a contraction due to a recession of 20%, but the opportunity online for an artist and photographer doubled, your market opportunity dramatically increased, right? Like, that's, you have to understand that, because like all the people that normally bought in a gallery in Seattle, and if you're an artist in Austin, you had a 0% opportunity to get that offline buyer, okay, at a gallery or at an art fair in Seattle. But if all of those people can't go to galleries or art fairs, and they're now buying their art online in Seattle, right, in every state, you as a creator in your individual city now have an opportunity to sell to all of those people all over the United States, all over the world, and you otherwise did not have that opportunity, okay? So for the people that have digital acumen and are selling online, like, you now have the biggest opportunity you ever had. It's amazing.
Yep. Yep. As long, I mean, you know, we make it out to sound all rosy. It's not a complete bed of roses. You have to do the work, and you have to put yourself out there digitally, and you have to start doing the right high ROI activity. But we just see the 3 to 5 to 7 to 9 year horizon. And it's like the ones that take advantage of it now, the ones that start grinding now, the ones that see the writing on the wall now, those years that go down the line, like, those businesses are just going to get bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger and start snowballing. And what a great time to be. Like, I hate middlemen. I hate middlemen. I've hated middlemen my entire life.
I hate middlemen.
Especially when there's no reason for it, right? Like, there's nothing that is preventing you from going right around them, except you say, oh, maybe it's easier. Maybe I've got that. It's like, no. The middlemen are done. They're done in the music business. Alan said that, but in the Facebook comments, like, it's done. Its days are finished in art. It went from, even if you were in that super sweet gallery, to like that being a great deal for you. Now, coming out of this, the tables have likely turned for 99 out of 100 of those people. It's done. The middlemen are done. They're out.
Yeah.
They're
going to have to. They're going to come to you. People want to buy from you anyway, directly from you. They don't want to buy from a middleman. Like, the like one of the biggest, parts of the value of buying art is to buy directly from the creator, like, and have a relationship with that creator and an inside look at their world and, all of that. Like it's way more of an experience purchase than it is just a physical good.
Yeah. And when you think about it, like the few galleries that do survive, like talk about the sheer talent pool that they're going to have to draw from. They're going to be able to call their shot up and down the stack wherever the hell they please, right? Not going to matter to them. They're going to be able to exact the crazy terms on you, and it's going to be way harder to get in there. And it's circling the drain.
Maybe, or maybe the opposite is true, where it's like, the artists are like, I don't really need you. I can run my own showings. Like, oh, you can do showings? Great. So can I.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. You could look at the screen. So, no, Alan, we don't distinguish the marketing tactics or techniques. It's literally just getting attention, right? It's physical good agnostic, I would say, right? Like you need to get the attention. Everyone's followers are going to end up being some sort of a bell curve, meaning, on one side you've got the low income people, then in the middle you have all the middle class, and then down the end you have the very high end. But you can't just attract one part of the bell curve exclusively. It doesn't work that way. It's too hard. Otherwise everybody would try to do that, right?
We get this question a lot, Alan, like we get them on our Zoom calls actually. And, we were talking to somebody last week about this, but it's a pattern. And it's one of the misconceptions that's out there. That's like, I am unique in some way. Like I have, I'm selling originals only for $20,000. Like, do you have marketing tactics for that? Or can I sell that online? Or I only sell limited editions. And my audience is, I need to have high net worth individuals that make more than X amount of income a year. And it's a big misconception because, my answer to that question was join the 3,000 other members on our platform that are targeting high net worth individuals, right? Like targeting people that make $100,000 or more a year. That's the whole business, right? Like we're not working with people who are selling like $20 prints and that's their goal. Everybody on the platform, if you're a painter, is trying to sell originals, right? We have a lot of people selling originals only. We have a lot of people who sell limited editions only, and we have people who sell originals, limited editions, and open editions. And in fact, the people who sell three, like all three, some of them are some of our most successful, who sell literally over $100,000 a year from their own websites, selling all three.
Yep. Bill Stidham's on. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Bill.
Wonderful day in Central Mexico. Yeah, it's a huge misconception, but like it's no different, us marketing software, than you guys marketing art and photography. Of course, you're going to attempt to skew your products towards the high net worth individuals, but that's not the way that it works in real marketing land. You don't get to say, I only want to send my stuff to the high net worth individuals. It's just, there's no effective way that I've heard of where that works. Like all my buddies, I've got like my one Persian buddy who's a photographer, and he's deep in the Persian community. He's deep in the jewelry game, right? All of these people sell jewelry, and they're always asking him, how can we find the high net worth individuals, right? And he always asks me, and I tell him, it's the same as everyone else. You start in earnestly in your marketing. You're going to attract a bunch of people that are not higher net worth individuals. They're going to share your content, never buy anything, but watch it, share it, like it. The ones in the middle, they're going to think about it, and maybe you'll get a couple of purchases out there, but they're also going to help you attract the high net worth individuals. And that's the loop. It's why it argues for having the various different price points. But in terms of attracting things, like, everybody spends the most money on Facebook ads. Do you know how hard it is to target high net worth individual people on Facebook? You can't, right? You get a mixed bag. That's the way the game works, right? Like, yep. If you're in the Nordstroms and you're trying to advertise Nordstroms, like, you're going to get some buyers that can just afford some stuff, and you're going to get somebody that's going to drop 150,000 and walk out like it's nothing, and have you bring all the bags to the car and want champagne. Like that's just how it goes. So it's one of those traps. It's one of those little fallacies that you get caught in. Like
it is.
Yeah.
That's a great, like, I love the way that you put that, because it's just a trap. It's a thing that's stopping you from getting started or just doing all the marketing, because the real, what the solution is to getting high net worth individuals or to get your exact clientele that you think is unique for you, is to do a lot of marketing over time, consistently, to do high return on investment marketing tactics and techniques, and do it consistently over time. And what happens is, half the people that see your stuff are probably not qualified, but then the other half are. And the only way you do it is by just doing it and going. You don't sit there and go, hey, how do I laser pinpoint this little tiny group? Like, of course, right? Like, you know, of course you're trying to get those people, and you're going to hone in and you're going to try to optimize that as much as you can. But you need to do a lot of marketing, and you need to do it consistently, and you need to do, you know, follow some sort of a plan and make sure your email, all the social media channels, and all that stuff. And that is how you get there, right? There's no silver bullet.
No, there never has been, never will be.
It's such an easy excuse, right? It's like that one is a very slippery slope, because it's so easy to wrap your mind on that one and just get stuck and just be like, okay, well, but I'm not going to do that. Like, the buyers are not online, or, you know, the high net worth individuals are not, you know, I mean, you go down so many rabbit holes on that we see that are totally false, right? But really, at the end of the day, what you and I see is like, you're just stopping yourself, and you're trapping yourself, right? Like this thought in your mind is just stopping you from getting started and doing what you know you need to do, which is consistent marketing, you know, as much as possible.
Yeah. We're doing, so 2 hours from now, essentially an hour and a half from now, we're going to do Nick and I, a big Zoom call with anyone that's not a customer, bring you in, talk about your problems, talk about your issues, talk about whatever you're struggling with. Although oftentimes we're gonna explain to you, it's not what you think it is that you're struggling with. It's not what you think it is.
It rarely is.
We're gonna do that in a couple hours. All the questions will be on the table. You know, we got one question about what's the difference between the base level plan and the highest level plan. We'll go over that today. The answer is bells and whistles and features. All the plans give you 100% access to the marketing. But encourage you to join. It's going to be live on Facebook. It's going to be live on YouTube. It's going to be live on Twitter, so you can get it those ways. But it's way more fun if you come into the Zoom call. And you can raise your hand and you can ask whatever question you're struggling with, just us. I mean, Alan asks here, I usually take commission jobs, so I'm not sure how that works to market something online, which doesn't exist yet. It's completely easy, Alan. You're getting it complicated.
Easy.
Process. You show your process. You show after the fact, after it's already sold, on the wall. Talk about what you're working next. There's so many ways to do it. And boy, is the video popular. So,
Alan, a ton of our members, I mean, I would say most of the painters offer commission work. You know, we have a playbook for how to sell commissions, and and marketing is totally normal. I mean, it's just marketing, you know. I mean, obviously, we're not going to go through our whole playbook here. That's part of our product, but it's not. The point is, it's completely normal. Completely normal.
Yep, completely normal. It's almost like sounding like Trumpian there. Okay, so we'll see. Hopefully, some of you guys in an hour and a half, you'll be able to see it right here, or if you're on our email list, I'm sure we've probably been haranguing you about it. But it's been fun. These things have been really good.
Yeah, so it'll be on Facebook. It won't be on Instagram. It'll be on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter. Is that right?
Yes. It's too hard to do, like, you know, to do on the Instagram. I'd like to figure out how we can do that. But it's just, it's been hard.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, we will see you then. And a reminder, we are running a big sale right now at Art Storefronts. Through the end of this month, the clock is ticking. Limited spots are left to request a demo and get in the queue. So if you've been thinking about doing this, or you're on the fence, or you have some unanswered questions, you definitely want to come to the Zoom call, get that handled. It may change your life. Who knows?
That's right. I love it. Okay, go. I want to go walk the dog, get some rest.
Cool. I'll see you in an hour and a half.
Yeah, see you for the marathon in a little bit.
All right. See you guys.